Well, Ollie and I are underway. As I said, I wanted to make sure. I didn't know how busy we'd be next weekend, what the weather would be like, and I was certain that I would have Time Is On My Side in next Friday, so I didn't have an opportunity to take Ollie back. Amy is working tirelessly in the barn, a little under the weather the last couple of days, and I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it, and I explained why this morning. So today we had horses training, we had horses being entered into go, we had horses qualifying and schooling, a lot on the go, a lot more than I thought when I looked at Friday's worksheet, so to speak, what I needed to do, where I needed to be, and what was going on, quite frankly, across the board at the stable. So I'll start with the trainers, right? We have no horses, lots of horse racing tonight at Mohawk. No horses racing today in the states that I'm aware. Maybe Stacy's, no, I don't think she does. I think we only have Mohawk tonight. But we had a lot of trainers. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We had 15 trainers today. I thought we had a lot less than 15 horses trained today. Some of them we were backing up. I wanted to back Aunt Lily up a little bit, get her back on the bit. She was running in. She's running her whole life, but she was running in a little bit, training the last few weeks now. The only problem was when I went out, and this the track crew was right to do this. It was supposed to snow. It was supposed to snow again this afternoon. It was supposed to snow again this afternoon a little bit, so there was snow on the track this morning. Rather than scraping it off, why not wait until this afternoon so you're not scraping the track twice and losing material off the track? It made total sense. Problem was, we had a ton of horses to train. I went out on the track with Aunt Lily and Memento Mori, and I'm going to tell you what, we went 1.5 miles, and it was a good 1.5 miles. First half at 19, I was cutting it with Aunt Lily. Amy was sitting behind me with Memento Mori. With Memento Mori, we went the next half in 9, the last half in about 5. We went the last mile in 2:14 in the jog cart at 1.5 miles. In that snowy track, that was a good mile. Now, Aunt Lily was slipping a bit because the snow was deep. Understandable. She didn't run. Running in a bit. We need to put the roller burr back on her. I made Dr. Latessa aware of it today, and this isn't anything new with her. It's not like, well, before when she ran in, we did this and this. Nothing kept her from running in last year. We could say, oh, the Uncle Peters, notoriously, their knees bother them. We did her knees. We did her lower hock. We did her stifle. Dr. Latessa made sure he went all over her, and still, she would run in a little bit to a lot. Now, I didn't find her any better with the flip-flops on than before. Now, we trained last week. I told you, we just had a 9/16 on her, no flip-flop, and she got a little pacey on Jason. So I told him put the flip-flops, or put the bell boots on. He goes, well, track's going to be hard for the next little bit. Why don't we put the flip-flops back on her? Which is fine. I just don't want to race her with the flip-flops on for the simple reason she's going to be doing racing in Scioto, and it's not a very flip-flop friendly track. That's right, I just said that. So, and besides that, it felt to me like Aunt Lily needed a little more training. She felt a little unsure of herself. She didn't feel powerful. That's what I want to see. That's your green light when you're going with the horses and getting them ready again. When they feel like they want to attack, right? When they feel like they're looking for a fight, then they're ready to go. I didn't get that feel from Aunt Lily yet today. That's not to say I won't get that feel with her in the near future. I just did not get that feel from her today. I would say she's 3 weeks from being ready to go. There's nothing wrong with that. Other than that, I was very happy with the filly today. Memento Mori was exceptionally good. Amy moved him over at Tedder Lane, and he just got up past me at the wire, but she was loaded finishing up her mile with Memento Mori. So really happy with what I saw from him, and not disappointed with Aunt Lily. She's just going to need a little more work. Now, we went the race bike with everybody else. Second set was Cadeau, Century Legion, and Mountaineer Prince. Mountaineer Prince stayed at it today. Cadeau, I told you guys, aside from a little bit of blood that was found last week, I told you I thought that the reason the blood was found was because he was tired. He was slipping on that deeper track with those bar shoes on up front and longer shoes behind. We took it all off and just put 4 aluminums on him. And I had no idea what would happen. None. I said, Jason, just go out and train him, give me the feedback, tell me what you think. Jason goes to them. He said, one, the hobbles were too tight like that, which is the same place they were before, which is even more telling to the way he was getting over the track. He said the hobbles felt really tight, but he was very strong. I won the set easily with Century Legion. When we started out, I thought a little bit right hind, but I always do with him, and that was from last year also. And Little Rickety still in the straights, but not bad. He was extremely strong finishing up his mile. I almost had to pull him over backwards, waiting for everybody. I think I went a mile 2.5 and a piece with him. Last half was in like 4, but the last quarter was like 31 seconds. I backed him up the whole way down the backstretch, waiting for the other two to catch up, and I was trying to figure out if they made a break or whether they were just being careful. Jason said the hobbles were too tight and he was being careful. The other horse, that's where he was ready to go, but he did his work. So that set went, they went 2.6 and a bit. I went 2.5 and a bit, but I could have won a mile probably in 2 minutes the way he was trying. He was great. The next set out was Melisandre, Vehement, and Gymboree. Now, I told Tyler I was going with Vehement, and I said, Tyler, you have to, and this is important. I want everybody to pay attention to what I'm about to say. So, I knew we were ready to go. Now, the track was still snowy, less snowy because they had scraped it off a little bit with the tractor, but still quite a variant. I would say at least 3 seconds. So a good mile for the first one. We get out with Melisandre. Eric's going with Gymboree. I said, you're probably going to have to cut it because Melisandre can't cut a mile. She's just very green. She likes to pull up a little bit in the front. She's done it her whole life. I'm not cutting it with Melisandre. You're going to have to cut it. And I don't know what Vehement's going to do. I think Tyler's going to get a crash course in Vehement here in just a minute. So he went out first. He jogged him around twice. When we get out there, he was finishing up his second lap, jogging Vehement. These horses have already warmed up. We go over to the backstretch. Now he's walking Vehement. We pull up and I said, Tyler, you don't want to be walking this horse. You need to thaw him out. He has to be ready to rock when you turn him to train. He goes, well, I already went 2 laps. And this is important because that's exactly what Brett did the other day. Doesn't know the horse. You would go jog him around, walk him for a bit, turn him, go your mile. That's just standard. That's normal stuff. He's not a normal horse. Can't do that with him. It's almost like he was in a reset. He couldn't function when we turned to trot. Pace, run, pace, run. I looked over, I said, I'm not waiting for him. Let's go. And Eric clears over to the front. I get away in behind him now. I've already trained Vehement 2-1 and a piece, 2-1, 2-2 the other day. It's not the same as racing, but the poor bugger's become a professional on racing short because he's never raced tight yet. Not one time, I don't think. So we go out of there. Eric clears over the front, 32 seconds, 1:04. Now Vehement's catching up from behind us. He's now thawed out, and he's starting to roll. Down the backstretch, Gymboree is cutting it out good. We come after like 59-3. Gymboree beats me at the wire by this much. Melisandre was great, 2.4 last half and 59 and a bit. It's a mile and 2.1 easy minimum over a normal track. More than enough for her to do good in a maiden for sure. So before you say, well, she has to do more than a maiden, relax, baby steps. She's ready to go. Those 2 fillies will qualify next week. We'll go through the whole qualifying list next week. Vehement comes storming. Now we're past the wire into the turn. He comes storming by us. Then Tyler does the right thing. He goes another 3/8 of a mile. I don't know how fast he went, but that was quite the workout. He will be as tight as he can be for next week, and he did get in. Stop that portion of it. A little side note, Bluebird Tuxedo Hill, remember I told you, he made a break, means he doesn't have to qualify in Ontario, but he would have to qualify in Ohio to race. Does not have to qualify in Pennsylvania. We've had our tough time getting horses in Pennsylvania that weren't PA bred. Bluebird did get in. He is in Ohio this afternoon. We're going to train him in the race bike tomorrow for Wednesday and make sure he too is ready to go for the Meadows on Wednesday. Saturday, Wednesday's a good timing to put him in the bike anyway. So Bluebird got in. Vehement got in. Now he had to go up into the non-winners, a 2 but 4 or 3 condition claimer. I have no idea what they're doing. They're probably 58 trotters. It's going to take a week. You know, it'd be nice if we could just get him in every week. It's been the strangest thing. You know, Johnny and Chris both messaged me saying, why can't this horse get in? Honestly, guys, I think it's a cautionary tale for next year. It's nice to have non-winners in 1, 2, and 3 horses, but I think ensuring our PA breds are the ones that are ready to go first would be wiser, because the PA breds are the ones that can get in both in Northfield and at the Meadows. And through January into February, we have really struggled to get our numbers 2 and 3 horses in at the Meadows because it's PA owned and bred first. So a little food for thought for next year. Well, this year. Well, you know what I'm talking about. So the first 2 sets I was tickled with. The next set out was Freedom Hill, Grand Slam Deal, Westland Warrior. Now, I wanted all 3 of these horses to go very hard today because I wanted to have an accurate depiction of how good they are for next week. Now, I told you 2 weeks ago, Grand Slam Deal trained awesome. The track was much worse today. It wasn't a bad track. There was just a snow on it. It was a slowing surface. I went a mile and 2-3 last half and 59-1 with Grand Slam Deal on the front by herself with an ear hood on. I say by herself because the other 2 were in behind me. Westland Warrior got out of gear in the last turn. He lost a shoe right hind, but Jason said he was not pacey and he was good in that regard. That's good to hear. And Freedom Hill was right beside him, just went around him down the lane, and they all finished up right there together. Now, what would this guy be doing with a snowplow in the fast lane with no plowing of the snow? What are you even doing out here? That's the dumbest driver I've ever seen in my life. It's not like he's turning around on the road. I don't even know why he's out here. The roads are bare. Makes no sense to me. Okay. Oh, he's waiting for the turn around roundabout right here. Get off the road, on the side of the road then. Anyway, Grand Slam Deal was awesome. Freedom Hill, Tyler said, was good. A speck of blood found in her after a training mile. Now, she is on Lasix, as is Jimboree. And Westland Warrior was fine also. Scoped clean. Just got to get a shoe on him right hind. I don't really know why he lost a shoe. That's the second time he lost a shoe. He must be hard on his back shoes in the stall. Sometimes what you'll do is you'll find horses, they'll put their foot up against the wall and almost try and hook the shoe off. I don't think they're being rude. It's just more of a, I don't know, they're playing around or what they're doing, but a lot of horses will do it. Not a lot. Some horses will do it. You'll see them, you'll come in the morning and their shoes bent. You're like, what the hell? How'd that happen? They'll get the back of the shoe under the wall sometimes and just kind of pry away at it. And I don't see how his shoes would have come off. He lost one the other day. It was fixed, and then he lost it today. I don't see how that would have happened if that isn't what he's doing in the stall. But nevertheless, we can put him in a different stall first and foremost. There's a couple there with the boards right to the floor. No, they are anyway, but anyway. Either way, all 3 of the horses in that set are ready to go. Freedom Hill. Maybe, well, you know what? We'll see what the weather's like next week. I literally can tell you there's about 8 that have to qualify. Remember, we have to qualify Admiral Dio. Luckily, Bluebird doesn't have to qualify. He's going to race next week instead. But Admiral Dio has to qualify. He's fine. For those of you following along, he AFib'd last week. I think what had happened was we had trained him in the race bike on Lasix on Friday and then raced him on Tuesday. Is that right? Or is it? There was 3 days anyway. And I believe the Lasix on the training day followed up by the Lasix on race day was enough. And that's exactly what happened, actually. Patrick DeProna, 3-4 years ago, whenever we had him and he AFib'd on us in Ontario, that's exactly what happened. We trained him 3 days out on Lasix, came back and tried to race him on Lasix 3 days later, and he AFib'd. And much like Patrick did at that time, he reverted back the next day. I came back to the barn after and gave him an electrolyte tube just orally in his mouth, and then we gave him just a small amount of a bran mash but lots of water in it, and he had it all cleaned up in the morning. So I have no idea if that helped or what helped, but he was reverted back in the morning. He's jogged twice now, and the vet was in the barn scoping horses after the training day. When he came back in, we listened to his heart and he was fine. So by we, I mean obviously the vet. So I don't know how I got to there, but all 3 sets have trained great so far. We went out with Arrowhead Hanover, gorgeous package, Fire and Shine. Never Lose Felix is also in Wednesday. Oh, been a while since I sat behind Felix. Did he ever train good? He was very, very strong in the face. He can get over this track, no problem now. We went a mile in 2:05 last half and 1:1. Arrowhead Hanover ended up first over right beside me, finishing up. He might have got me. Gorgeous Package split through late, and Fire and Shine was on the outside. All four of us finished right across the track. I had a death grip on Never Lose Felix going through the wire. Very happy with that mile. That was a very good mile from him. Arrowhead Hanover, another 2-3 weeks for him. And that's with Amy going with him also. I'll step up and train him the race bike maybe next Saturday and see how strong he is and how close to racing he is. My hope with him, there's no rush with him. I think his first stake is in May. So having him ready for the first part of March would be fine. Take your time, get maybe 3 starts in him, get his sea legs off, get him really tightened back down and ready to go. And by the time you go, his first stake, I believe, is the one in, I don't think it's the first Sire stake or Stallion, wherever we decide to race him. I believe it's the Bunker Hill in Plainridge. That's where it was with Memory last time. I don't know if there's a stake first. I don't think there is. The first part of May is the Bunker Hill. So you want to have him the last week of April. You want to race him. That means the middle of April, you want to give him a week off, then race him the week right before the Bunker Hill. So again, middle of March, qualifier. First start is the end of March, first part of April. You go April, end of March, April, week off, end of April, off to the Bunker Hill. That's the plan with our boy Arrowhead Hanover, and all 4 of those horses were good today. Gorgeous Package running in a little bit in the turns, but she wore a head pole last year training anyway, or racing anyway. Not a big deal. So very happy with the way they trained. I trained I'm a Trucker. Now he's leaving this afternoon. He's leaving this afternoon to go to Ontario. I trained him by himself in 2:7 and 4 today. A very good mile for him. His confidence is growing and is getting up there. You know, I had a long conversation, and Captain Incredible trained a mile and a half today too. Eric went with him, and obviously he's fine too. I had a long conversation with Dominic last night. You know, a little bummed out. High Hopes just isn't cutting it. And then Pelican Owl apparently qualified, or schooled, kind of soft today with James. It's hard to get speed into them at that firm. And James just figured, he goes, it's hard for me to say he's not good. Listen, he's no Charlie May. He said, but I don't know if there's a good horse in there. He's felt a little soft today. He said he just went and did his work. I don't play nice. Another horse just kind of went out and did his work. I got the feeling that James wasn't thoroughly pleased with them. Now I'll let him marinate on that a little bit, and then we may even just put him into qualified to get him qualified and just say, okay, if he's not going to do, he's gone. And that's exactly what's happening today with High Hopes, I believe. Pelican Owl, those horses, they won't be far behind. And as I said to James, listen, we have to do right by everybody, giving these horses a chance to come back and prove that they can do in a maiden, non-winners to 2, overnights, then graduating to some sort of staking. That is the plan with them. And if they can't, they can't. There's nothing we can do about that. But when it comes to us and our job is to make sure that we leave no stones unturned as we're getting our horses ready to go. So I believe what you'll see is Pelican Owl, I don't know, put him into qualify, school him once more. I want to get a true sense of how soft James thought he was today. Delicious Stone DK, I told Dom I wish you'd have put him into qualify. I have zero interest in schooling an age trotter that's returning from a torn suspension a year ago in a throat operation. Zero interest in having a schooler for this horse. I think it's a wasted mile. It's a waste of my time, yours, and the horses. They went and schooled him because Dominic just thought he wasn't ready to go just yet. James said he was okay, and truthfully, I guess he did need the mile, but I still don't change my stance. He could have had the mile in the qualifier. But Delicious Stone DK will be qualifying next week. Who else? I Don't Play Nice and Pelican Owl both were a little flat. Schooling, we'll see how they qualify. For sure, I Don't Play Nice going in qualify. And if you can't muster more than 2-3, 2-4, well, I've wasted everybody's time in regards to him. You know, he left such a bad taste in my mouth last year, that horse, that I almost got rid of him, his mom, the yearling, and the foal. I just said, I'm just going to wash my hands of them. That's how mad I was that I Don't Play Nice. But then Tomboy Strong is training down so good right now. I'm going to have to wait and watch this play out. Totally different build that looks a little like him, but got a stronger gait, can pick up speed quicker. It's got a little more of that snap speed to her, and she's competitive, right? That's the one thing that always concerned me, but I don't play nice, is that he did his work well, but was he competitive? Did he really have that, that eye of the tiger, we like to say? And it turned out he didn't. And clearly it hasn't shown up. But the sister, Tomboy Strong, is nothing like that I can see anyway. So the schoolers weren't the greatest. I was mildly impressed with AJ. James said the track's terrible again. He said, I don't even know how you can look at a mile on that track and say it was good or bad. No one knows, because you don't know if you can get over the track, and the track's just not great. So he was less than enthusiastic about the track itself and the shape it's in at Mohawk. And then Rosa and Alexandra, I want to talk to Harry, because if they're struggling getting her off her knee, if they're struggling with her doing her work properly, she is going to return to Ohio immediately to finish up her training right here, because 7 beat 11, 2-4. James said if you look at the mile, she's got a Murphy blind in the inside. She's hitting her outside knee. Murphy blind needs to come off for Mohawk. As I said to Harry, we had her shot in a way that it was beneficial to her. He thought that she came back good, and I know she doesn't have the shims in her shoes. We'll see if that's needed. If Harry says, I don't know, maybe that's what she can do, well, there's no need for that conversation to continue. She's going to come back over here. I know she's a better filly than that. She needs to have some hard training into her, and then we'll race her wherever we want to at Northfield and around this area. She doesn't need to be over there. If there's anything less than an explanation of why she was 7 beat 12 lengths, well, she doesn't need to be there much longer. AJ, on the other hand, I was happy with him. Now, James didn't go with him. He had another horse in there. Billy Davis went with him. So we'll see what he does his first start. Lord, I would have to believe that he can do an almost a 2, an almost a 3 type situation, no problem. He's got speed. He's got a good attitude. His bullish attitude is dissipated, and he's got a lot smarter, much like Foxy Seaside has also. So those were the qualifiers and the training miles and the schoolers. We're on our way home right now, and it already feels like it's 8 o'clock at night. So we'll be back. We'll be in Ontario for a little bit before 5. Ollie has baseball at 5:30. As soon as it's over, we'll be returning, because we have everybody to train tomorrow. Now, Highest Honors was acting a little sick today. Jason said no temperature, but he didn't pick weight. He picked away at his feet this morning. He's a little docile on the track. I said we'll tentatively scratch him tomorrow, but we'll keep an eye on him. And if he feels good tomorrow and eats his breakfast, then he will be training. As of right now, only one scratch, only one concern we have, and it's very minor, and that was Highest Honors looked and acted a tiny bit sick. We'll see if that plays out, how that plays out into tomorrow. But there's a good chance that you may not see him. Well, you're not going to see anybody anyway tomorrow. I am, though. There's a good chance he is not going to go tomorrow. He'll just jog. Otherwise, every single other baby that we have will be ready to go tomorrow. So I'll give you an update later on tonight. I am really excited to watch Foxy and Country Dancing, Rosetta and Oh Hill No, and I'm missing one, Chevron's Bypass. I'm interested to watch every single horse go tonight. So good luck to all my partners tonight. I'm eager to go with babies tomorrow. That's going to be really, really fun. It's nice to just get this weather over with. Now, I wish I didn't have the cop beside me. I lost my train of thought, but I'm not speeding, so I'm all right. I wish there wasn't going to be raining this week on the qualifying days, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about this. We have called for rain and mild temperatures after a tundra week at the Meadows. I don't even think they'll be able to qualify if that's the case. And then much of the same for Northfield. My only hope is that changes. I'd like to see just below 0. Chance of snow, not rain, on Thursday. That would be perfect. We'll get all our horses qualified. And as I said to you, our qualifiers look like this. Cadeau and Century Legion are going to race. Mountaineer Prince probably a week away. Freedom Hill could go next week. I'll talk to Jason about that. Grand Slam deal's ready to go. Westland Warriors pretty well ready to go also. Melisandre will definitely go. Gymboree will definitely go. That's 4. Luckily, Vehement got into race. He doesn't have to qualify. That was the sticking point, was that when they put Vehement on the list, it said performance and vet. Well, it didn't say he had to requalify on there, but the Northfield judges were adamant that he had to qualify because he was put on the list for performance. That was a must and a non-starter. That doesn't sound good. Well, the judges in Miami Valley said he did not have to qualify. I wasn't taking him back there. And the judges in the Meadows said he didn't have to qualify, but it was tough to get him in there. So it was looking like we were going to have to qualify him after missing. It was just the worst. This poor horse and his owners, all my partners on Vehement, have been through the ringer with a horse that is sound, has very little vet work done, and has somehow ended up racing like 8 times in 4+ months. And being on the vets list, not being lame, and on the performance list, no fault of his own. And Tyler learned that today when he tried to train him. You can't walk him before you turn him to go a mile. Maybe you will someday, but not today. You need to thaw him out, jog him around, have him on his toes when he's ready to go. And if you don't, that's what happens. And I said that to him. I said, told you. And he goes, wow. He said, he's a finicky little bugger, eh? I said, yep, he is. So, we're at 4. Vehement doesn't have to qualify. Bluebird doesn't have to qualify. That's great. Admiral Deal will be 5. Fire and Shine will be 6. And that's it. They can school I'm a trucker in Ontario. There's another plow on the road with his plow up, going nowhere. He also is waiting for the turnabout right here. Okay, I see. So we have 6 to qualify next Thursday. Now, the biggest magic trick of all next week, one, is getting Looks Like Money in the Open again, having the open trot fill. Problem is, they always put that open trot in race 1, I've noticed. It can't be in race 1 or I'm done. I'd really love if they would just give us a reprieve until the 4th, at the earliest, the 4th. If we're in the 4th or 5th race, we can get all of our horses qualified in Ohio and I can make it to Pennsylvania. If they put us in race 1, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So we'll see. We'll see if Tom, the race secretary in Pennsylvania, will accommodate, facilitate that. If he won't, that will suck. If he does, much appreciated. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays out next week in Pennsylvania. That is a police officer, but he's a New York police officer. We just left Ohio on our way to Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania now. He's not pulling anybody over. Not that he would pull us over anyway. I'm not speeding. There. Anyway, that is it for a complete rundown. You have 28 minutes. A full rundown of how everything went thus far today. I hope it continues to go good tonight. I talked to James. He's going to go last trip with Rosetta and set the hobbles for her. I'm excited to watch her race. I'm excited to watch everybody race tonight. It's a real good night of racing for us at Mohawk. So good luck to everybody. I hope you're having a great Friday start to your weekend. I am. Ollie and I are almost to Buffalo, almost to New York, and we'll be home soon and back in no time. Take care. We'll talk to you all. Probably talk to you all later on tonight. Take care.